people get panicky?
All right, so this one
Number
is the
3.
Chipotle habanero. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So that has a kick to it that the other ones didn't.
It's our first sort of taking it up a notch moment. It's like a deep pepper, but it's almost like a fruit.
It is a deep pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I got, just so you know, I have 3 different beverages for today. I have a milkshake, I have some soda, and I have some water. And I just wanted to make sure that I was able to see what combats the heat best.
Well, please report your findings. I'm always
I
looking
like
for
the
tips.
milkshake. The milkshake is doing well for me.
So from reading articles about your time at MTV, it seems like you'd agree with something that I've been thinking about for the longest, and that is that red carpet correspondent is the single worst job in all of media.
Oh man, I was so bad at it. I will give a lot of credit to red carpet reporters because for an award show, for example, you get a book this thick of every single person who is going to walk down that red carpet, and you have to learn not only who they are, what they look like, but also their entire filmography, and usually some kind of like quirky trivia. And then it's just trying desperately to get a soundbite out of someone as they pass right by you. It was not fun, but there are some people that have mastered the art of it. I was certainly not one of them.
Do you think that your experience doing interviews did anything to change or inform how you approach being a talk show guest?
I mean, you do such a beautiful job of it, but I think obviously the questions have to be kind of interesting, but also people have to talk. And as someone who has interviewed a lot, nothing was worse than getting one-word answers out of somebody and then running out of your questions, but you still have a chunk of time left. You gotta have a level of charm, and I think that's my big thing through any kind of interview situation is like, you gotta have genuine interest in the people you're talking to, because I feel like people at home can just see right through it when it's not very genuine. I quite like this one. This is very flavorful. That's nice.
So you're the latest in an illustrious line of Canadian Hot Ones guests, which include Michael Cera, Maddie Matheson, Shawn Mendes, and now you, Dan Levy. As a Degrassi alum and Toronto native, do you recall your first ever meeting with Drake?
It was at an airport, and he and some of the Degrassi... I quite like this one. This is very flavorful. That's nice.
So you're the latest in an illustrious line of Canadian Hot Ones guests, which include Michael Cera, Maddie Matheson, Shawn Mendes, and now you, Dan Levy. As a Degrassi alum and Toronto native, do you recall your first ever meeting with Drake?
It was at an airport, and he and some of the Degrassi kids were getting off a plane as I was getting on, and we kind of said hi to each other in passing, and we had never met before, but I think being in Canadian television, you kind of had a general awareness of who each other are. And then years later, I was sitting in a restaurant and he was sitting across the restaurant. It was just that game of like, I don't want to go and like say something and then have him like not remember. And anyway, at the end of his meal, he came up and just said hi as he was walking by. And I was like, well, there you go. I guess he does remember.
How do you describe or explain Degrassi for people who only know it from those Drake wheelchair Jimmy memes?
Well, it started in the 80s. And it's like a very earnest, serious approach to high school drama that always has like a cautionary tale element to it. If you're an actor in Canada, you will inevitably kind of go through the process of appearing on Degrassi. And it is a coming of age moment for all Canadian actors. And I did it quite late in the game. And it was an experience that was quite interesting. So this evolves in the mouth. It's a very fragrant bouquet of flavors that almost tastes like you've just gotten a big whiff of someone's armpit. It is like a gamey, musky flavor that's not going away.
All right, Dan, well, while you wash that down, we have a recurring segment on our show called Explain That Gram, where we do a deep dive on our guest's Instagram, pull interesting pictures that need more context. I'd be remiss not to ask you about your dog, Redmond. What are your thoughts on Los Angeles dog culture? Like, is it insufferable, or is it kind of sweet that everyone kind of celebritizes their pets?
I think it's probably a bit of both. I think everyone needs to just put their phones down for a second and just generally reevaluate what's going on. I think if you're getting mad at people for standing in the shot of your dog's Instagram post, you've got bigger problems on your hands.
Do you have a favorite keepsake from the set of Schitt's Creek? The Cafe Tropical jerseys, I think, would be at the top of my list.
I have taken home a handful of those menus from the show, and we had them made kind of oversized so that you couldn't actually open them without looking like a total idiot. I kept a bunch of those. I kept a bunch of the little, I kept some framed illustrations from our little motel room. I am not good with letting go, so I've actually taken most of the things from our set and just kind of have them in my garage. Yeah, it was a tough thing to say goodbye to, those sets, so yeah. I'm saying this because I do have a knife and fork in front of me and I've opted not to use them right now.
Let the record show.
All right, here we go. That gets right into the back of the throat. That's full coverage. That's not going away anytime soon.
No. We're in it. We are.
Do you
in it,
hand
Dan.
select each of these sauces?
Thank you for asking, actually. I'm not sure how much time you spend in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, but there's a hot sauce store there called Heatnist. And the guy who runs it, he's kind of like our hot sauce sensei. So we go to him, and then we get all these hot sauces lined up. We, bring in new makers, take old ones out, shuffle it up every season. And and then what we want, though, is exactly what you're experiencing, which is this symphony. Little tongue, little lip, throat. He snaps that whole Rubik's Cube into place. So your father, comedy legend Eugene Levy, played Jim's dad in American Pie, a film that explicitly deals with awkward father-teen relationship dynamics. What do you remember about being 15 years old and that being the #1 movie in the world? It must have been a unique role to see your dad play, especially at that age.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of at the time a lot of people came up and asked me whether the movie was based on my life. My story is way less interesting. I did not have sex with a pie, unfortunately. Oh. Uh-huh.
How would you rank yourself against others who've played your dad's son on camera?
I feel like Jason Biggs did a more successful job at it than I did. And I ran into Jason recently, and in a way, it feels like every time I see him, like he's a strange sort of extended member of my family. But I'm very at peace with the fact that Jason did a very good job of playing his son. And I think he still prefers Jason to me, let's be honest. Okay.
All right, this is the bomb beyond insanity.
Okay.
Be careful.
Oh no. What is this? Oh man. That's not pleasant. This is not pleasant.
Careful around your eyes. Careful around your eyes.
Do people get panicky?
Sometimes.
I'm feeling kind of panicky. Like
It's okay. Remember you're in the comfort of your own home. So before your career took off in Hollywood, I know that you strung together a series of odd jobs, some of which you used for inspiration in writing Schitt's Creek. As someone who worked in a video rental store, what are people who've never browsed the shelves at Blockbuster missing out on?
I don't know. I don't know what they're missing out on.
In addition to co-hosting the Great Canadian Baking Show, I know that you worked in a literal bakery. What do you think is the GOAT bakery smell?
Probably like a baked butter. Like a chocolate chip cookie or a croissant or something. Anytime that something's drenched in butter that cooks, I think there's like a very quintessential smell. I ate a lot at that bakery. Like a lot. Like I didn't have any restraint at that bakery.
You also have the rare distinction having worked at ICM and then later on working in Hollywood. And ICM, for those who don't know, is one of the world's biggest talent agencies.
Uh-huh.
What would shock me about what my agent says or does behind my back?
Probably that all the times you tried to get in touch with them and they say they can't come to the phone or they're out to lunch, they're not out to lunch and they can come to the phone. They just don't want to. now I'm burping. And Canada won the Olympics that year, and we won hockey. You know, it was a very proud moment for us Canadians.
Do you have a 2-sentence review of the Lifetime original movie Cyberstalker?
It's bad. How about that? And if I was allowed a third word, it's very bad. Yeah, that was one of my first gigs as an actor. And I played a wheelchair-ridden cyberstalker murderer, not to give the movie away.
And then finally, Cosmopolitans. Guilty pleasure or timeless classic?
When made right with the fresh ingredients, they are very, very refreshing. And I love a pink cocktail, I'm not gonna lie. Reminds me of being on vacation.
All right, Dan Levy. That's perfect.
Okay. How much am I dabbing in it?
You know what? It's up to you, Dan. It's up to you.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, this has been a treat. I can't say it was entirely enjoyable, but I had a great time.
Hey, we'll take that. We'll take that.
Well, I say that before I eat this, so here goes.
All right, Dan Levy, here we are at the final stop on our hot wing journey. And boy, have we covered a lot of ground. From your MTV roots all the way through to your Emmy-nominated triumph that is Schitt's Creek. But one thing that we've overlooked is your column in Flair magazine, where you used to do life advice on everything from financial responsibility to dealing with technology overload. So drawing on your time as an internet-era philosopher, what's your directive to the fans watching right now who maybe feel withdrawn in this year of just physical and social isolation?
I think what I proved through your very thorough investigation of my career is that I really hustled in a variety of different mediums to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I think that one of the great things that has come out of this whole time has been a kind of connection that I don't know if we necessarily would have had we not all been in our homes. A connection to what's going on politically, a connection to what's going on socially, a connection to what's going on in our families and in our friends. I think before, people were so scared of even picking up the phone. It was a text culture. We were in a way kind of quite separated from one another. And, you know, I think this has really kind of brought people closer in a strange way. Everyone's been at home and we've all been communicating and we've all been having conversations and those conversations have been quite meaningful. So, you know, I think you have to kind of see the good in the bad and hope for the best in terms of the future. So, you know, yeah.
Well, if Dan Levy says it, then you know it's the truth. And look at you, Dan, taking down 10 scorching hot wings and keeping the sweater on all the way through. Pits look dry, still looking good. Glass is not even fogging up, and now there's nothing left to do but roll out the red carpet for you, my friend. This camera, or possibly a camera B if you've set one up, let the people know what you have going on in your life.
Well, I am celebrating the end of our show. It still has to drop on Netflix in October, which is very exciting because there'll still be a group of people who haven't seen the last season yet. But for now, it's you know, just keep pushing forward and creating some stuff that people like and that kind of means something. So that's the goal, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for it. I keep your
you think it would have been better back in the day on SNL if you could see the YouTube hits and like how many, like the reception right after?
Of course. And it would have changed everything. Like, I think I'm jealous of SNL now that on Monday they have their best sketch online, no matter where I am. Yahoo, wherever you go, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And you watch it and you go, oh, it's still a pretty funny show. Now they don't show the worst one, but throughout the years, there's a couple, you get it right. Even if you had 2 takes, that show would be better. But sometimes you start it wrong. Like you're in acting class, you go, can I start over?
Yeah.
But you're in it and you're like, fuck, and all your head is going, we started it wrong. It's off.
I
Something's
wonder why
off.
they should have done an East Coast and then a West Coast. I know you guys were up anyway. I mean, like it would have been fun. I mean, it would have been earlier. Then we would have seen 2 versions. I would have loved to see 2 versions. You said motivational speaker. Can you imagine the fun that the diehard fans would have watching both feeds?
I love it. But now we're going to talk about something more boring, which is our topics.
David's doing a good thing with his Instagram. In fact, I noticed that you're doing these monologues now on Instagram, which I think is a great idea. And I really like your whole vibe there. You're just kind of reading jokes. You got your paper in front of you and you're commenting on the jokes. And I think it really suits you. And I see people are responding to it. You got like a couple of million people following you now.
Thank you. That's fun to do. I do it because I did that show.
Lights Out.
Yeah.
Well, what is going on with that show?
Well, I started doing it in the, pandemic in my place and was interviewing people and they said, we're not going to, it doesn't look like we're bringing you back. And so I just said, so 2 other places have called me to say, if it's not, maybe come over here and do it. And we'll change the name. And I said, oh, okay. So I said, I'm just going to do these monologues to keep my sanity and to keep me something to do in the morning.
So wait, you're telling me something new. Is this generally known that you're not doing Lights Out with David Spade anymore? I mean, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I told all the comedians know. And so.
Are you depressed or are you happy?
No, not really. Listen, I like the show and it was hard to do, but I like it. But if one of these other 2 places wants to do it, we'll do it. But if not, I might do some version, just my own.
If you've got like over 2 million followers on Instagram, and you're doing these monologues, why don't they just sell a couple of ads or something?
Yeah. Most of the stuff on Instagram does better than a cable show because cable shows can get between 200,000, 700,000 viewers. And you're like, I can get that on a video. You know what I mean? So you go, if that's what they're really after.
Yeah, imagine, I watched that thing. They ran a 30-second ad at the top of that monologue you do. I'd sit there through that to watch your monologue.
That's nice. You could struggle through that.
Yeah,
do they let you do that on Instagram? Do they let you sell your own ads?
Well, how are they going to stop you? Imagine David gets on and goes, hey, everybody, I'm here for vaginosis cream.
Yours is a long road, my friend.
Another star shower. Wait, is that?
And there may come a day when you forget the faces and voices of those you have met along the way.
Excellent. I had intended to speak with you alone. Having drawn your strength from such a cacophony of voices, can you truly be sure you still speak with your own?
No. I won't let you go alone. Not this time. Joy you have known. The pain you have felt. The prayers you have whispered and answered.
Come, warrior of darkness! Let us finish this!
They shall ever be your strength and your comfort. When all is said and done, I would ask a favor of you. Yours is a long road, my friend.
Another star shower.
And there may come a day when you forget the faces and voices of those you have met along the way.
Excellent. I had intended to speak with you alone.
Having drawn your strength from such a cacophony of voices, can you truly be sure you still speak with your own?
No. I won't let you go alone. Not this time. Joy you have known. The pain you have felt. The prayers you have whispered and answered.
Come, warrior of darkness! Let us finish this!
They shall ever be your strength and your comfort. When all is said and done, I would ask a favor of you.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video, I'm going to be watching the English trailer for Final Fantasy XIV patch 5.3. I haven't watched it yet. Normally I do these patch trailer review things, and I've watched it before. I've only watched the Japanese one, so this will actually genuinely be a first reaction, and then we'll try to find different parts, break certain things down, things that I noticed in the first, but I kind of want the English translation. I just want to watch it, because it was so hype even in the Japanese version with the things that we saw, that I'm shutting up. Let's just get into it. Let me make sure the volume is good. That should be fine. God. God, just inject this into my veins. We're gonna watch the whole thing first, by the way.
Yours is a long road, my friend.
Another star shower. Wait, is that?
And there may come a day when you forget the faces and voices of those you have met along the way.
Never. God, I can't wait for this. Dude, that's us breaking in.
Excellent. I had intended to speak with you alone.
Oh, that's
your
is that a
strength
drama?
from such a cacophony of voices. Can you truly be sure you still speak with your own?
That's my boy. I called it. I called it. Sapphire weapon right there. Oh, that's
Having drawn
a
your
is that a
strength
drama?
from such a cacophony of voices. Can you truly be sure you still speak with your own?
That's my boy. I called it. I called it. Sapphire weapon right there. Oh, that's
Having drawn
a
your
is that a
strength
drama?
from such a cacophony of voices. Can you truly be sure you still speak with your own?
That's my boy. I called it. I called it. Sapphire weapon right there. I couldn't really see his face. I gotta pause
No.
on that.
I won't let you go alone. Not this time.
Thank you, Braha.
The joy you have known.
Ooh. Every time.
The pain you have felt. The prayers you have whispered and answered.
Come, warrior of darkness. Let us finish this.
They shall ever be your strength and your comfort. When all is said and done, I would ask a favor of you.
Oh, you can't ask a favor. Oh no, he's gonna wake us. I'm telling you, man, it's gotta be something with Source Grahatia. Okay, so pretty much the entire trailer is being spoken over by Graha, except for a few specific parts that I definitely want to go back and grab. So first of all, this looks like it's probably the end, actually. After everything is said and done, the Star Shower looks like it's kind of been resolved here. So I'm assuming this is kind of like the scene of us seeing when what's his face, when Graha actually successfully sends everybody back to the source. We do see Thancred saying goodbye to Reen, and we do also know that in 5.2 Thancred basically kind of already said goodbye to Reen, so we'll know not to see Thancred and Urianger in patch 5.4's Eden update, so they're going to be without them. Now the Crystal Tower I don't think will vanish or anything like that, but you can see this scene right here is very solid. It's nighttime again, but it's a natural night, and it's just all clear skies. This is a very serene scene that we have right here for Shadowbringers. It could be like a calm before the storm style thing, but you see this with the hero's gauntlet across Novron. Like, you see the Crystal Tower, you see the star showers that are in the rest of the trailer itself. So this is Elidibus's endgame, essentially. We kind of get an idea of what it is, a more direct, I guess, link to it. He kind of spoke vaguely, but he pretty much achieved exactly what he said he was setting out to do at the end of 5.0. In that he said, in order to defeat the Warrior of Darkness, I will summon the Warriors of Light. And he seems to have, he's just taken that very literally. My question is, are these Warriors of Light, are these the Warriors of Light he's created by, you know, giving everyone the Echo or giving everyone the gift back in 5.2? And are these then like converted Warriors of Light? Or are these actually from other shards, other times, similar to Graha's magic? Did he somehow use the Crystal Tower to do any of this stuff? It would make sense as to why it's such a central point for everything that we see with Graha. Now we know the Hero's Gauntlet dungeon is largely going to be going across the entirety of Novrant. We can see going through Ilmeg, Lakeland, all sorts of different regions. We even see in Yulmore when the showers themselves actually start. You can see them here, and then it just never ends from that point on. Although the sky is a little bit less bleak in some of these images right here until the Warriors of Light all start coming down. You can see, I wonder, was that a solo instance? Oh, it's got NPCs. It's got Reen and Alice, but that's probably just part of the Hero's Gauntlet. It's all the like wildlife is like going nuts and like fighting each other. That's what it looks like at the very least. I can see the Numo are actually fighting here. You can catch a few glimpses of them like right down there and a couple of them back there, all fighting almost like the enraged wildlife that fight up. You can see a bunch of Fays, you can see some light people. There's all sorts of things going on, but basically the Warriors of Light are all over Novrant. And so you can see the actual the inhabitants actually having to deal with that. So it is very much like a final battle, kind of like we were promised with Elidibus. I'm assuming that's Hythlodeus. It's really hard to tell with the ancients, with the Emiratians, but if there's any one, I mean, I've already seen people suggesting maybe that's what like our shade that like Emmett remembers, but I think it's most likely Hythlodeus because even he kind of recognized this and recognized what he was. So he's my first guess here. I don't think it's going to be a different Emiratian or Venat or anything like that. I just don't think it will be, but all those are still very, very open. There's a lot of light on the screen, but this is the boss they showed us in the preview. No, actually, that's the final boss, who's like a giant berserker, like, I don't know, this was nuts to see, just like from a design, like, look at him. So I'm wondering if that's, so there's a couple of specific aspiring Warriors of Light that we dealt with in 5.2. We didn't deal with, but like they went off on their journey, and I can't help but wonder if that's one of them, because that's certainly a transformation if it is, or if this is again something from another shard or something that was summoned, or it's big question marks. But that design, he's not messing around. Let's just put it that way. I really like the design of that. I'm assuming that's the last boss of the dungeon for the Hero's Gauntlet, if it's not the boss that we're actually getting a minion of, which is the lady that we saw. This is Bajra. This looks like this is part of the final critical engagement. We actually detailed this in the live letter itself, where we're going to be breaking into a Bajjan fort. And it looks like we've taken some of their tech and used it against them to barrel out an entrance. You actually see, it looks so, if you get a very quick glimpse, there was a boss inside. Its defeated enemy model disappeared and is disappearing right now, and they're breaking in simultaneously. So I'm wondering if it's like a two-pronged attack where there's like an attack unit, because you can see the ladders along the side as well. So I'm wondering if the first unit was responsible for dealing with the forces on the inside, and the other unit is for breaking open the gates to get the reinforcements in, which would mean it's it's supposed to be 48 people, so it could be something as detailed as that. We do also, there's a Warrior of Light attacking us in our Yulmoran ship. We do get Elidibus. We already knew Ardbert was Elidibus, so that's not really much of a surprise of anything. But yeah, then you can see that's another whole boss on the fort itself. So this engagement's going to be very, very involved. That kind of looks like the model of the thing that we were destroying by the gate. There could just be more than one. There could be a lot of enemies that are modeled like this. But we also see, I think, is that a Dramlik? It's been a while since I played 12, so I think that's a Dramlik from 12. I don't know if that's the final boss, but it certainly is a boss. I'm fairly certain that's a Dramlik, which makes sense. Remember, you have to have completed the Return to Evil East raid series, and we know the Espers and the Orosite are very much an important aspect of that. We also know that that the Garleans went in afterwards and like retrieved a lot of the technology, and they may have found things that are going to lead to more things like more Final Fantasy XII Espers appearing, or we still don't know what Tartarus exactly is from that lore piece. So I would expect to see more of the Final Fantasy XII Espers that we haven't seen already, even though we have slayed quite a few of them in the Return to Ivalice raids. We also have this. This scene is interesting. So I've been waiting to rewatch this scene a few times. That looks like Regula. Regula's supposed to be dead. So I don't know if we got another Nail situation here where Regula died and like a relative took over his mantle, or if this is a flashback scene and the lighting is just really awkward. I can't help but feel like that's Regula. Now, or I'm sorry, it's somebody pretending to be Regula. It doesn't look like Nail precisely. No, I'm pretty sure that's the Regula headpiece. This might be, yeah, here's the thing though. The child over there is an interesting note because she's clearly, this isn't like when Gaius first adopted her. She's way older at this point. But at the same time, we have the kid that's back there, and I can't tell I can't tell the gender. I don't see any horns. It's kind of hard to tell. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Even if it is, I wonder if that's going to be a teaser to the other Oversouls, because we're still trying to figure out what the other Oversouls are going to be for the Ruby weapon. After the Ruby weapon, because we've got Nail already. So a lot of people are guessing. I still think one of them will be Gaius, personally. I think it would be very poetic if they fought him with his own battle data. People are suspecting maybe Regula, but honestly, his combat data is not very interesting, if anyone recalls. Obviously, there's also the possibility of Xenos. We've already fought. What's his face? In Memoria Misera, Varus. So probably wouldn't use him. So I don't know. But it looks like Regula's helmet. So it's just a question of if it is a flashback, how far back? It couldn't be that far back, because Regula died fairly recently, and she is much older than the other flashbacks we've had with the adopted children. We got Gaius here, who's clearly still pissed about what's going on. He's not happy. But dude, I called it. I called this since the beginning. As soon as I saw that looked like an Ironworks robot, I called it. I said it's a giant robot fight. It has to be. There's no other option that's not Sapphire weapon. I'm so glad I was right about that. So there you go. And then we just have a little Echo flashback. That's the guy who's piloting the Sapphire weapon. I want to get a good look at Sapphire. So that's Sapphire. I can't really see. I'm trying to see if there's any like details about him that would tease me as to what, like the very top I have a hard time seeing. But it kind of looks like it's Regulus, which would make sense again, because we just saw him in that like flashback-ish scene, and he's gone, so his combat data would be very well known. So it kind of looks like that, but it's I don't know. It would make sense. I think it makes perfect sense with them also teasing Regula earlier. I feel like the callback is very immediate. So he'll probably be the Oversoul for this. It would also make sense, honestly, with like this sword-wielding Gundam robot that we have. It would actually be kind of perfect because he's kind of known for that style of combat. But then again, so is Gaius. We have a giant laser, in case you're wondering. Giant laser. That's all you really needed to see. Flying in a Realm Reborn. I'm kind of curious about this camera angle pan. I think it's just dramatic effect. I don't think we're actually going to get that camera angle pan as part of the flying, or even as a function. I think that's just clever camera angle stuff. This scene, of course, is another interesting one. Again, we're in the Crystal Tower at this point, surrounded by Warriors of Light, and our boy Graha is not having a good time. We see this constantly throughout the artwork, throughout the patch trailer. His body is not taking well to everything that's happening, and we don't know if that's just because of the effects of us actually saving the world, or if it's a result of the timeline changing because of Elidibus and what he's interfering with. So there's still some pretty big question marks on that, but it looks hype as hell. Then we have the near raids. I'm not super big into these, but I kind of like that they're showing there is more of an immediate threat with the robots, in that they're actually push the dwarves out of Calusia. That's why they end up having to go to Lakeland. It specifically looks like the Comran dwarves are being pushed out above all else. And that 2P is not having it. We got a quick look at the shadowy figures. Our gear sets are actually coming from those shadowy figures that we are fighting. I can count 6, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if there's one that she's kind of blocking vision of. And the music gets really hype around here. You can see some, again, I don't know if those are robots or if those are people in just white suits. I'm assuming they're robots, and because they're very autonomous. Everything here is autonomous. That's actually inside the puppet's bunker. That's the first boss. You can fall off, by the way. There's the actual bombing run that you actually get of the Comran village. That's inside again. I wonder if we can see anything. Oh, yeah. Look on the monitors in the back. Yeah, that, those monitors probably speak, well, it's not, yeah, the glory of mankind, Yorha for the glory of mankind. Yeah, you can see that constantly, glory to mankind, or glory of mankind, actually, and for the glory of mankind in the back. So yeah, this is the space station from that. So I mean, we all knew what the puppet's bunker was already, but there's some fun little things for anyone who's who knows the Nier lore back there. Become as memes, yeah, pretty much. And then we just get a few more peeks. This is another one of the bosses. Looks like, I assume it's actually the full boss. But it looks like there's actually very few people here. I don't know if that's for cinematic effect or because they've split off from the groups, like for different parts of the encounter. It's kind of hard to tell. Even during the pan out, you don't really see too many more people. So that one's a little bit tough to tell. We also have, looks like, oh, you know what's actually really interesting about this? So there's a bunch of robots that I don't know if those are probably attacking us, but they almost look like they're facing. Oh, you know what? I think they're doing AoEs on their platforms. Yeah, because they're standing over each of the 3 platforms for the alliances. They're probably doing point blank AoEs or something like that around. It's hard to tell. I was trying to look to see. I'd imagine like the shadowy figures are in these, but they're also very conspicuously over all 3 of the alliance platforms, so I'd assume that you just don't want to be near them. This I don't understand. This is kind of messed up. We've got a Hrothgar who looks to be mind controlled of some kind. He could just be summoned in. He could Orsight. Orsight would make a lot of sense. He's probably got Orsight. So that I don't think that's Gunhildr. Oh, I wonder if that crown is something that they picked up from the Allegans. He's also got the weapon relics. He might be a blade of Gunhildr. Reminder that Gunhildr is a queen, so, and that she had blades that all wielded her legendary weapons. And we know that that what's his face? Why is the name escaping me from Final Fantasy 12? I keep wanting to say Caius. Somebody help me out. I can't get his name. His name is just escaping me. I don't know why I can't get it right now. I'm thinking too many things at once. No, not Gabranth. That's what I was looking for. We know Gabranth is not against using summoning magic. So yeah, when he mentions wielding the blades of Gunhildr against us, a lot of people thought that he was gonna summon Asura or something like that. It's possible he could have just straight up summoned the warriors of old, the Hrothgarian legends, the blades themselves, and that he's actually wielding part of it. So we even, a little bit of an attack symbol. This is us attacking again. And then we get Makoto, who's still really worried. Reminder that Makoto, her echo lets her see into the future. And it's supposedly not a future that can be altered. It's set in stone and cannot be changed. That's what we're led to believe right now. So her face being like that tells us, oh man, Elidibus, why'd you do it? Look, it just instant. Why would you even let him get that close? Why would you even think to let him get that close? Maybe he can't see him. He's flying under the radar a little bit. He's just like, yeah, we can have a nice peaceful talk. Boom! Elidibus is not messing around no more. And then they're starting to get attacked by Warriors of Light. I can't even really see what's going on here. Was that... Oh, I wonder, is this... Is this the start of the dungeon? Or is that the final boss? Because that boss... I can't tell where they are, if that's part of... Is that in Yulmore? Because, I mean, that would make sense if it's like the start of the yeah, that is the top floor of Yulmore. Maybe the Hero's Gauntlet dungeon starts in Yulmore. We take the airship, and then we crash land outside of way outside of the Crystal Tower and stuff like that. No, it doesn't have to be. I would never take any use of limit breaks in trailers seriously. They use the Dark Knight limit break in everything, constantly, but. I do see some other... it's really hard to tell. It could have something to do with the trial itself, and it could just be considered not a major spoiler. Because it's kind of weird if they would include that, especially if it is the top floor of Yulmore. But you're right, there is a ninja, there is a dragoon, and there is a dancer. So it might be part of the 8-man that they consider not spoiler enough to actually include. So there's actually 4 TPS in it, unless they're really just memeing for the sake of getting a cool trailer shot, which they've done before. I remember when we got the test, the benchmark, when they had 9 people against, like, you know, whatever. They also use like LB3s and like 4-man content all the time. So it could just be like an ad phase spoiler or something like that. And then you have Elidibus summoning a bunch of Warriors of Light. You have one of the Bosja bosses again. You got Best Boy here, whose crystals almost look to be fading as his entire body is taken over. He's also in the woods somewhere. Then there's that. There's all the Warriors of Light. And then Elidibus says, let's finish this. Pretty much confirming he's going to be the boss, but it's going to almost... I'm guessing it's Elidibus' throne. He's also on Xande's throne. He's actually at the top of the Crystal Tower right here, with Xande's throne right behind him. So that's something that's also worth mentioning as well. And then, then we get these last few words, finish the fight. And then he says, after that, after this is all said and done, I have a favor to ask you. So I'm wondering if that's just I think that's just our teaser for 6.0, but I still can't help but feel like it has to do with Source Graha. It's I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, man. I need this. Inject this into my veins immediately. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it. All right. I got Regula there. I got my giant robot battle. I got my Bajra battles. Lena's looking upset. And it's just all right, that's it. I need it. All right. That's all I need to say. I'm good. I think we've analyzed it enough. We'll probably analyze it more on State of the Realm, but my word, go watch it. Go watch it a million times over. Also, there's another video. I'm not going to watch it in this. It's the Pulse album. It's an EDM album for Final Fantasy 14 they're releasing. That video is out too. So I'd recommend you go check that out and pre-order that, because I already have. But yeah, that was, dude, it feels like
Don't wake me up, please.
Yeah, chat says you should have just said something funny. Like, quote, unquote. Yeah.
That's good. That's good, chat. Thanks.
It is good. Thank you. All right, so before we get started with the very obvious topic, as most of you know, we usually have a sponsor read at the start of the show. We will, but something a little weird. On the Twitch side of things, we're going to just do our normal sponsor read. On the YouTube side of things, if you're watching this on YouTube the day after, or even if you're listening to an audio form, there's going to be an extra ad. The show is also sponsored by the new Romancing Saga mobile game that recently released. But like I said, there's going to be a full minute ad that's playing on the YouTube. So for editing purposes, now. This video is sponsored by Square Enix and their new mobile game, Romancing Saga Reuniverse. This mobile game was recently released globally and is based on the long-running Romancing Saga RPG franchise. It features traditional turn-based combat, weapons, gear, levels, and a full story for you to enjoy, and they're always adding new content, so you'll always have plenty to do. There's all sorts of events, daily quests, and my favorite thing is the ability to send off units on expeditions, which will automatically complete over time while you're asleep or working for more rewards. I like to do it before my live stream or before I go to bed, so that way I can wake up to some stronger units. On top of all that, the game prides itself on its free-to-play friendly monetization, and I can say they're doing a pretty good job. Now, waiting to see what's a red herring and what isn't.
Yeah.
I don't even, honestly, it's 2 minutes that I don't even know where to begin. Like, it's so much. That's why I started with Called It.
All right, well, how about this? What's Elidibus up to? Let's start with that.
It's exactly what he told us he was up to 3 patches ago. It seems like, at the very least, he's literally making good on his end of 5.0 promise. I'm curious about something, though, because so he's clearly summoning Warriors of Light to the first to kill the Warrior of Darkness, exactly as he said he was going to. We don't know where they came from, if those are just the citizens of the first that he's turned, or we don't. That's the only thing we don't know, because it looks like he used the Crystal Tower and Graha's magic to do exactly what Graha did which would imply that Elidibus has some mastery over Asian or Allegan technology.
Which is curious because we know that that fighting himself, but
saw a few things.
Yeah,
and someone brought it up too in chat, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one who saw it. Did y'all see Adramelech as one of the bosses?
Yes, Adramlik was one of the bosses in Bajda, one of the Espers of 12, which is very in line with what's his face, Gabrant's kind of modus operandi. There's actually a couple things that it took me a few rewatches to notice. For one, Amarot rising out of the ocean by Yulmore, it looked like. That I was like, oh, that's Amarot. And then I was like, wait, no, it's above the ocean. It's not under the ocean anymore. That's a key one. There's also the Blade of Gunhildr, it looked like, wielding the resistance weapon that we have, who in that same room, we see a scene later with 4 DPS killing like as a giant bird creature with some ads in the back. So that, I don't know if that's part of the quest or that's part of Bajda itself, because I think they said there's no trial for Bajda this time. So seeing 4 DPS fighting a mob, it's hard to tell if that's a trailer shot or if that's just taking place in Bajda, but that looks like it's part of the final critical engagement to some degree. And it could be a Blade of Gunhildr, because didn't he say he wanted to use the Blades of Gunhildr against the Resistance, like their own thing? He wanted to actually use Gunhildr. We were expecting him to summon Gunhildr or Sura or something.
Yeah. Well, he was implying that he was, and you're talking about the Rothgar with the glowing eyes, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
That is tempered.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If he's a Blade of Gunhildr, he's using one of the blades of Gunhildr. He's using one of the weapons we saw locked away in Memoria.
Yeah, but that dude is 100% tempered, which means that Gunhildr's already been summoned somewhere.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. We've got a lot of things to indicate that there's a lot going on inside of that castrum. Because we see a lot.
Well, we've also got the contract 7 mount.
Yeah,
we have the contract 7 mount, which is what used Tartarus. We know that Tartarus was basically, its ultimate attack, and that's what destroyed the Clockwork City of Galg when Ramza Beolf and his crew fought against it, Yeah, Noah's been working to restore it. And I think that we're getting it as a mount, probably because we're going to have to fight it again.
I don't know, because and I think people are going to be really mad if I'm right about this. The 1v1 critical engagement is also a mount, and a lot of people are afraid that you have to win the engagement to get that mount.
Yeah, see, I was so sure that was a near mount.
But it's not. It's not the same.
A lot of us were.
Yeah.
A lot of us were.
You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe it is, because those are actually, there's a lot of Type 0 stuff popping up in this, and that thing is it's one of the generals. The general that you're 1v1ing is from Type 0 in that machine that you see in the 1v1. That's actually a Type 0 boss. And the Guard Scorpion is actually not just a Guard Scorpion, it's a reskin of the Type 0 equivalent of the Guard Scorpion.
Yeah, I picked that up, but I don't know why I don't remember, because I smashed Type 0. I don't know why I don't remember the 1v1 from Type 0.
Well, it's not a 1v1 in Type 0, just who we're 1v1.
It's a boss.
Yeah, it's just a regular boss.
It's just a boss.
Yeah. General.
I know that I don't
recognize it. General. I always forget.
Bashtar.
Bashtar, that's the one. General Bashtar. I knew I was close. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just expecting a lot of Type 0. I mean, it makes sense. It was a very militarized Final Fantasy game. Like, it's literally kind of like the whole point of it. So I expect to see a lot more Type 0 related stuff. But I also expect to see more 12 stuff, like a Dremlek. There's a lot of Espers that are still unsummoned, in a sense.
Yeah.
And then the question is that just Auracite again? Or is that an actual summoning of some kind? That's another question that we don't have answered. Because there's no doubt they had to have found Auracite when they went in there. They had to have. When they were ripping everything apart.
In Galg?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so. So the interesting thing about Return to Ivalice is that the only confirmed aura site that we find are the Duma and the Otius. Oh, and the Duma is used to summon both Argath and Yasmat.
Yeah.
But all the make those people happy.
That with improv, kind of. But it's a whole... People were done are great. The quest after everyone...
Wait, Ethos, you haven't seen the fan art? Please say you have.
No, I told you I've been in transit for the last, basically since the live letter.
Oh my god, oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know what to tell you to... I don't even know what to tell
Skylar,
you to search for.
I'm gonna break the YouTube thing. Skylar, in my Twitch chat, do not link any of it at all. I will remove you. Okay. Now that's
don't have me, bro.
But if you want to, you know, you can just, you know, direct message Slide the Fox on Twitter, and it'll be okay.
Oh fuck. All right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
They reiterated that they're doing Ishgard ranking again, and there's going to be whole new items. Don't save anything from the last time; it won't be of use to you. But there's still one thing they're undecided on: whether or not they actually go through with using new titles. Because originally they said when you completed,
we had this.
They originally said when you completed it, you never need to compete again. That was kind of one of the selling points of it originally: is work hard, get it, and you're done. You don't need to compete for these titles a second time. But they kind of want to do new titles. They also kind of want to do new titles for a new phase. And almost, I don't think I've spoken to a single person who scored in the top 12 or top 100 to get the titles that has any consideration of wanting new titles. They're like, no, fuck you, don't do it. I don't want to do it again. And you know what? Some of them are even like, you know what? Even if they do new titles, I'm not fucking doing it again. You know, I don't like that title as much. My title's better. Fuck you and your new titles. I don't want it. They can have them. I knew people who 16 hours a day for 10 days did it, and then the last day fell below 12th place and hated their lives. Okay?
Oh, no. Don't do that.
Not like this.
Yeah.
Not like this.
Don't anyone do that, please. It's a fucking title in a video game. Come on. Come on, dude.
My chat is literally full of did it once, never again. That's the running theme here. No, there's no capitalism ho here. There's no capitalism to be had at all. Just pain. So they're undecided. They're gonna read feedback before they actually release the content to see if they should do a new title or not. And I have a feeling we will not be getting new titles. So good luck to the new people competing. Good fucking luck. I do wonder how long this restoration phase is going to take. Because after those 10 days are up, the restoration phases just kind of came to a halt for a lot of servers. It took a long time before we saw all the restorations finish. There's nothing wrong with that. But it went from super active to completely dead and people failing fates. Balmung failed one of the crafting fates because nobody was doing it. I think it was also like really early in the morning. But it's like, I would never expect Balmung to fail one of those crafting fates because they didn't have enough people around. Ever. So, I don't know if how long you expect this one to be. Nothing? Don't care, huh? That's how much we don't care about crafting. All right, fuck it. Moving on.
No.
See you later.
Not saying we don't care. I don't care about placement. I mean, I don't care about.
No, I don't care.
But I mean, the quests after people were done are great. The quests after everyone finished were really good, but it took people months to find out.
Oh my god, Ethos is just like I just don't care.
So if you don't care about the crafting, you probably at least care about the follow-up quests that came. because they were.
Yeah.
If you have not done
totally.
the rules, yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
And that'll mean
I care about the quality of life stuff. That's great, and I care about like the story and lore that we get from the Ishgard restoration. But like, I don't really care if we get it in like 2 weeks or a month or whatever. It's like it's fine. I can wait.
No, you can't.
I can though. Like I really can. We've been waiting for more Ishgard lore for like 5 years. You know.
People just want their houses, man. That's all. They just want to finish the shit and get their houses. By the way, I can't wait for all the people who worked on those houses to not get one. Anyway, moving on.
Oh.
You've got a personal stake in nothing. Anyway.
My God. Oh, damn near made me spit my beer. Fuck.
It's gonna fucking happen. I can't wait for those forum posts. I was part of every crafting fate on my server, and I didn't get a house.
Yeah.
It's gonna fucking happen.
100%.
Wow.
Oh man. It's like, wait, there was houses at the end of this? Really? Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right. Bajda. Next on the list. Wow. I was very surprised at everything we learned here.
Same. Fuck. 1 second.
That's fine. That's
BRB.
fine. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. He's gonna take his headset off too. So while he's gone, I'll keep the conversation. Nah, fuck. We already did all the lore conversation. Shit. All right. So I'll get your first take on this. Give me an overview before he comes back. Then we'll go into specifics. I want to wait till we're all here.
An overview on like what's happening.
Your reception to any aspect about it. Pogja.
Okay, so I did not think that we would be breaking into Castrum Lacus Littora because that is supposed to be like north of Bolgia, right? And we're in the southern front. So I thought that was something we were going to be like working towards over several patches. So I don't know if there was like a mislocalization or something like that in saying that it was like further north.
Well,
but that's one thing that surprised me.
I was gonna say, well, it's the southern front. Our military front is from the south, not necessarily. Yeah, you understand where I'm going. Like we were approaching it from the south.
Yeah, we're approaching it from the south, like the coast, like from literally as far south in Bolger as you can get.
And we're going north.
So anyway, I was just kind of surprised by that. I wasn't expecting to be going there so soon. The other thing that I'm surprised by was the fact that there was all this focus on the 4th Imperial Legion being all about like Beastmasters and like magic users and not using like traditional Magitech. And yet all of the preview stuff that we've seen has been fighting these like giant like Magitech monsters. Which was also like kind of, out of left field here. I was a little bit confused. I was hoping to see like some awesome, Beastmaster like teaser stuff. And we didn't get that. I mean, obviously, like I'm so excited for this content. Like, holy crap, it looks so good. I'm so pumped. But that was weird. One thought I did have is what are they calling the encounters? Not the
critical
fates,
engagements.
Critical engagements.
Critical engagements. Right. It reminds me of like way back from like 1.0 when they were talking about having like open world primals.
Yeah.
And instances of primals like appearing in the overworld that like people would have to get to and be able to engage like in world. And I can't help wonder if this isn't like a first step, a sort of like test to see if they can put something like this in like open world, overworld content in the next expansion.
I will admit.
Because it's just so much promise, the idea of these critical encounters, I think. In terms of like injecting life into the open world in a way that like there hasn't really been in 14 before. It's just like it's so exciting to me.
Now, I'll admit, when they first talked about it and they first mentioned critical engagements in the live letter and they described it and how you would get in, I was a little bit apprehensive because it sounded a little bit BA like.
Sort of. A little bit less.
Sort of.
As much more RNG as it is less RNG.
Yeah, it's RNG, but it's RNG, but they took it out of the player's hands, which is good. Like